Mado. Okay. So we are going back into our sentence building and Mvskoke structure. So for anybody who had been able to join in the past, this is technically part 2, but I'm going to review a little bit of what we kind of did talk about last time, where you can find those lessons, and then go into this round. Okay, so it'll let me click the next page, or do I have to do this way? This one. Okay. Moving this here. So what are the sentence building classes? So on Fridays specifically, we'll be doing sentence building. What these are mostly to help learners discover the tools to build your own variety of sentences, and to be able to use the language then in conversation with others. So this one, rather than focusing on building your vocab or building phrases or anything like that, it's specifically learning the pieces that you put together, the order you put together to say the meaning you're trying to convey. So no matter what we're covering, I will always want to make sure that everybody knows that all levels are welcome, and you're always going to walk away with something new or some type of knowledge, even if you feel like that specific lesson's way over your head for that time in your learning journey. That's fine, because even just knowing it exists makes a huge difference on whether or not you'll catch it in the future. Because if you don't know it exists, you can't catch it. So at least if you know it exists, you'll be like, oh, I did hear them say dondo, or I did hear them say an H in that word and stuff like that. That's what these are mainly for, and to try to accomplish for y'all. There we go. Okay. So if you're at the beginning of your sentence building journey, or you missed the last time we did this series, we do have the entire thing available on our YouTube playlist. It includes the entire part 1, and it starts with the very basics of forming our Mvskoke sentences. So I believe part 1, lesson 1 is literally what's the order of a Mvskoke sentence? How do I know which words to put where? And so we start at the very basics. And I believe by the end of part 1, we went through basics, your commands, your main forms, your present tense, your past tense, and your negatives. So we went through a large thing of stuff during that time period. So you can always go back and watch the full lessons. I also want everybody to know that on our website, which I'll share in the chat for everybody so that you have it written down. Our website is mvskokeobunaga.com. So on mvskokeobunaga.com, under our resource section, you'll find the sentence building and grammar. And in that, not only does it have the link to the YouTube lesson specifically, it has the worksheet for that lesson or concept, the handout, and the answer sheet. So it includes all of them for each part in part 1. So if you are, say, on maybe you're trying to practice present tense, but negatives. So instead of I am eating, saying I am not eating, I am not running. We have that section, has its own, the full presentation download, the full handout, the full worksheet and answer sheet, and the video. So just wanted to let everybody know that that is available. And if you've never seen them before, it's a great resource. So, but we'll be mostly going into the next round of stuff, of course. Some things to review real quick on sentence order for Mvskoke and whatnot that you would have covered in part 1. First off is our sentence order. So as you can see at the top, for English, we are SVO, which means subject, verb, object. You don't need to know what those words mean. It's okay, as long as you get the feelings. So I eat bread. Mvskoke is SOV. So if the S is the I, the V is the eat, and the O is the bread, they switch places. So I, bread, eat. And that's one of the main things about our sentence order. So for quick practice, because it's been a hot second since we've had one of these classes, And I want to just make sure everybody, if they got their sentence orders kind of right in their heads, or they just want to practice themselves. Quick first round is switching your English order to Mvskoke order. I have 3 sentences up here. I am eating soup. The bird flies, and you are cooking chicken. So not putting them in Mvskoke, just putting those into Mvskoke order. I'm gonna give everybody about 3 minutes to do so. So write it down. You can put it in chat if you want to. But then I'll be asking somebody to give me the sentence order. I'll be calling on somebody. Okie dokie. Time's up. Okay, so you can put it in chat if you wish. Otherwise, I'm going to start calling on somebody. So how about first on my list is Megan Barnett. Are you available to speak?
Had to get to a place where I could, and it's Burnett. It's not Barnett. I know that Barnett is very common there, but it's Burnett.
Megan Burnett.
Yeah.
So you got,
let's see. My guess is I soup am eating.
the answer is yes, 100%.
My dad.
I soup am eating. If we get really picky, if I soup eating am, but don't worry about that because it's, yeah, basically I soup am eating. That's exactly what we're looking for.
My dad.
Mado. Okay, let's see. Next is, how about Kirsten Kunkel? Are you available?
I think it's just the bird flies.
It is. It's the exact same one. The bird flies. What? Gee, perfect. Okay. How about Anthony? It doesn't have a last name, so just Anthony.
You chicken cooking are?
Yes, you chicken cooking are perfect. Yes. Yay. Okay. Muddo. What I'm gonna do is actually do this, because that has it and it's color coded a little bit. So I know it, at least on my screen, it's a little hard to see the blue versus the purple. So if that's the case for you, the verb part, this is blue. There we go. And then the other part that is not red, but not underlined is purple. So just in case if on your screen, it's a little hard to differentiate. But yes, exactly. I soup eating am is, bird flies, and you chicken cooking are. Perfect. Okay, so now let's try the same concept, but I give you the pieces, put the English sentence in the order for Mvskoke. So the English sentence is, the rabbit is eating a carrot. So we have rabbit, which is Jofi. Jofi. So you can keep yourselves muted. I'm just gonna say it 3 times. So say it after me. Jofi. 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 Okay. Now, carrot is Jofi and Humbeda. Literally, it's rabbit food. So that's what we call carrot in Mvskoke. So I say, you say, but you can stay muted. Jofi and Humbeda. Jofi and Humbeda. Jofi in Humbeda. G is dos. Dos. And in this case, eating is hombi. 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 Okay, now since it's only one sentence, I'm only giving you 1 minute to put together your sentence. Only 1 minute, but here's your 1 minute to put it together. Okay, how about G Barcello? Are you available to unmute? G, okay. Give me the Mvskoke sentence for the rabbit is eating a carrot.
Chofin humbera, chofit humbis.
Gee, I switched to them, but it's the exact concept. So I put the rabbit first, just because we tend to want to put our subject first. But yes, perfect. Okay, so let's look at it together. Jofi. Jofi and Hombeda, Hombedos. Jofi and Hombeda, Hombedos. And this is without any of our specific little markers that we put sometimes. This is just the most basic of sentence. Jofi and Hombeda, Hombedos. Machi. Okay. And as a reminder, just like before, these will be available on the Google Drive, which is also always connected onto our YouTube. So once this is uploaded to YouTube, it'll have the Drive link. And then once we have maybe like 3 or so of these done, they'll be uploaded and renewed on our website. So we'll have the part 2 being added as they go. So you'll have access to this stuff. You'll definitely have access. Okay.
Excuse me, Maya.
Uh-huh.
This is Stephen Wynn. I didn't have my microphone unmuted, so I'm here, but it's a little advanced for me, but I'm gonna hang in there and learn what I can.
Yeah, definitely do. Like I said, it's okay. The biggest thing is that even if you're learning something that you feel you're not ready for, just being aware helps. And so that's the big thing. So
Yes, ma'am.
So I know I can call on you now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the big 3 things I want everybody to remember for Mvskoke sentences is boop boop bop. Number 1, the verb is always last. That is an important part of Mvskoke sentence structure. So in a full sentence, your verb will always be last. If dos is one of the verbs in that sentence, that will always be the very last. So we had home be dos. We would never say dos home be. So it's always going to be dos as the very, very last one. But verbs are always going to be last. You have to have a verb in a sentence for it to be a complete sentence. So if you don't have a verb, it is not a complete sentence. English, you usually have to have a subject and a verb for a complete sentence. Mvskoke, you just need the verb. And that's because we already have a lot of information inside of our verbs. So you don't have to worry about that part so much. So if there's no verb, it's not a complete sentence. But I also want everybody to remember, like all languages, we don't always talk in complete sentences. So if someone asks how you're doing, you might answer, great, fine. Someone asks your name, right? They ask for your name. You may not say, oh, my name is Frederick. You might just say, oh, Frederick, right? So just like how in English, we don't always speak in full sentences, the same concept happens in Mvskoke too. So you don't always have to use a full sentence in Mvskoke, but it's important to know that for a full sentence, you do have to have the verb and its conjugated form. So just like in Mvskoke, if I ask you, Jihojivka Nagidwa, and I ask, what is your name? You could say, Eli Jihojivka Dos, the full sentence. My name is Eli. Or you could also just say, Eli, right? So same concepts. Okay. Like I said before, okay, good. I did include this. I felt like I did. So like I said before, to go over these similar concepts again or review them if you're not sure if you really remember them, or if you weren't here when we did our past ones, our website, mvskokeopunvkv.com. You need to review any other concepts that we've already covered, or you just want to see what we've covered. Like I said, if you haven't seen part 1, then you're just like, oh, well, what did I miss? Our website has the video lessons, the worksheets, the presentations, the answer sheets. So go there. That'd be a great place to go. For this class, we are now moving into the concept that we left off on, is future tense. Because we went through present, we went through all 5 past tenses. So if you didn't know, we had 5 past tenses. That's one of the things that we covered in part 1. We are now going to future tense. So once again, even if it's something you feel like is very new to you, don't worry, you'll at least soak something up. Don't worry about it too much.
Yes, ma'am.
So for future tense. Okay. To understand future tense, I wanted to kind of give a quick on the different other tenses that we covered, because it helps us remember what future tense is and how it looks different. So for present tense, right, these are the ones that you do hear a lot. All of them are just using hombida, and we just add our piece. So if you look, you'll see that all of them have homb in it, homb, and it's only this part between that and dos that changes. So if this is a new concept for you, those changes are the pattern of how we say something in present tense. So hombedos, hombedos,
Widows.
home. Oh, I dropped my pen. For you, hombichidos,
Hombichidos.
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 For he or she, hombedos.
Hombedos.
Like G. For we, hombidos. And so the big one between this one and this one is that the E, if it's a long or short E. So I'll say this one first. Hombidos. E.
Hombidos.
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 E versus E. So hombidos. Y'all are eating. Hombachidos.
Hombachidos.
Hombachidos. And they are eating hombagidos. Hombagidos. And there's a bunch of different ways you can kind of do future tense or present tense. There's kind of like a few different ways you can mix some pieces together, but all of them will have these middle pieces every time for that present tense. The only exception, see how we have our little star, is the they form. So I definitely recommend going to that lesson if that's new for you, because for the they form, some verbs take agi, but other verbs have special forms. So the quick version of that would be legida is to sit, but it's one person. Gagida is to sit for two people, and abogida is to sit for three or more people. So when we say they are sitting, they have to change to show how many are sitting, and they change form. So if they don't have a special form, then they add just agi, like hombida does. Okay, and then as a quick reminder, we have all these different past tenses that we use. See it. We have many past tenses. So even though we have 5, we mostly use 4, and one of them has 2 inside of it. So we have homebebes, homebuyings,
Hombayes.
hombeyangs,
Hombeyangs.
hombemuts,
Hombemuts.
hombeyants,
Hombenuts.
hombayadis.
Hombayadis.
So this is past 1, past 1, past 2, past 3, past 4, past 5. And so we have all these different ones. They have different roles. They're used at different times. They have different meanings. And we already covered those in part 1 at one point. So I would definitely go and visit that if that's also new to you. And then that one has a nice timeline, so you can really see when they're used and when they overlap. Diving now into future tense, we have 2 main forms for future tense. And there's a little bit of a difference in nuance between the 2 of them, but they're both used very frequently. So it's good to learn both of them right off the bat. And you might catch yourself defaulting to one at first more than the other, but all in all, they're both important and they're both very common. Okay, so our 2 main ones are vhan. I'm gonna use a different color rather than red, because I feel like that red was hard to kind of see. We have vhan, and then I'll talk about it later, but some speakers use the dialect of vhan with the R.
Athan.
And then our other feature is athli or ahi, depending on dialect. Athli or ahi. So as we can kind of see, the H and the R for some dialects kind of got switched around, which is pretty cool. Okay, so first is our near future. It's casual future. It's our intention. It's our prediction. So here's 3 different sentences that kind of show how that's used. I'm going to go to the store. So just a casual future. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to cook tonight. An intention. I'm going to cook tonight. A prediction. It's going to rain tomorrow. It's going to rain tomorrow. All of these would use a vhan. Usually, our sentences in English that we use going to, usually is going to be a vhan. That's a good way to kind of guess in your head if it's going to use a vhan. So down here, muja nisli no flay jahanes. Muja nisli no flay jahanes. Real quick, how about I'm going to call, let's see, how about Lysiana Jones-Cloud? Are you able to unmute or are you not able to?
I am, yeah.
Okay. Muja nisli no flay jahanes is one of those 3 sentences. Is it sentence 1, 2, or 3? Best guess.
Hmm. 3?
Okay, so our guess is 3. Oh, I used the wrong end on this. Our guess is 3. Okay, and then let's get one more guess. How about Paul Bell? Are you able to unmute? Five, 4.
I missed the question. What was the question again?
The sentence down here, muja nisli no flay jahanes. Which one of these 3 sentences is that? Your best guess.
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay, here's our 2 guesses. Okay, let's break down piece by piece. Muja is used for now or this when talking about time. So let's call it this for now. This. Neatly. Here's the one that's going to give us the answer real fast.
Evening.
Neatly means night. Means night. And then we have no flage. And then look, here's a vhan, what we were talking about, and an ace. No flage jahanes. So I'm going to
Cook.
not G. So now that we have all the pieces, we know that the answer is I'm going to cook tonight. I'm going to cook tonight. But G. Now moving over to what the boom. General future. So where the other one's what we call casual future, or sometimes it's called near future. This one is general future. Asli and ahi. So statements of what will or shall be, a promise or a pledge, or general future statements. So our 3 examples that kind of fit into those categories. Number 1, the tree will grow tall. The tree will grow tall. That's a statement of what will or shall be, right? You plant a tree, it's getting tall, and you're like, that tree will get tall. So, bang. A promise. A promise or a pledge. I will buy the cake. So maybe you're getting ready for, a birthday party for a little one or something. I will buy the cake. You're promising that that will be your job. A general future statement. Oh, they will have 4th Sunday this week. That church will have 4th Sunday this week. General future statement. Usually, when we use will in English, it's usually asli or ahi in Mvskoke. That's kind of a good way of being able to tell. Okay, one of these is one of these. So our sentence is Dak lake jumbi ni sauces. Dak lake jumbi ni sauces. Let's go with Cassandra Nash is next on my list. Are you able to unmute?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which one? 1, 2, or 3 do you think Dak lake jumbi ni sauces is?
It's number 2.
It is number 2. Heck yeah, and that's correct. Let's break down why. So Stock Lake Jumbi is our word for cake. Literally, this is bread. And this is sweet. Because it's sweet bread. And then Nisak means niece. And then it's hard to tell here because that V is now an A. But this is that Osli, but it's Usli. We'll talk about why it's Osli here, but Usli. So Nisida is to buy. So we have, and then I will. So I will buy cake. I will buy cake. What? Gee, what? Oh. Okay, so let's go in deep to vhan and see if we can see the pattern. So one of the things I want us to do is not just be told what the pattern is. I want you to actually visually see it and catch on yourself, right? So our first is, that's kind of light. Let me change the color so it's easier to see. Okay, our first one being hombada, so to eat. These are our 4 verbs we're going to use for this. So I say, you say. I'm going to do them, how about 3 times each? So I say, you say. You can unmute if you'd like or not. We're in the main lesson now. So I only had you guys stay muted earlier because we were in the review. So you can unmute if you'd like to say it after me. I say, you say, hombada.
Humbera.
Hombeda.
Bado. Hombada.
Hombera.
Hombeda.
G. And then hanam, hombada.
Humbera.
Hombeda.
G. To eat. Our next one, nisida.
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 G. Haram, nisida.
Nisera.
Nisida.
Nisida.
G. To buy. Next is ayida.
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 Haram, ayida.
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 G. To go. And then last but not least, ohonayida.
Ohonaya.
Ohonayeda.
Onanida.
And some dialects will change that first H into a K. So okhonayida.
Okhonaya.
Okonayida.
And both are correct. So I'm going to say this last one. I'm going to say both ways. Choose which one you want to say. Ohonayida. Okhonayida.
Onayida.
Ohonayeda.
G. To read. So those will be our 4 main verbs that we're going to use for these finding the patterns. Okay. So for using vhan, which is once again, usually I'm going to, or going to, but these are all going to be I'm going to. We can use 3 styles. So style 1 is the first one we're going to cover. It's the most common one to start with. Okay, our first one, I say, you say, vhanatces.
Hombahanes.
Ombahane.
Machi, hanam, vhanatces.
Hombahane.
Ombahane.
Hanam, vhanatces.
Ombahane.
Machi, I'm going to eat. Number 2, nisahanes.
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 Gee, I'm going to buy. Perfect. And you'll notice, maybe, if your ears are really good, you might have noticed that this is, I pronounce this as nisida with that short E, but over here it's ni with the long E. And that's, there's a reason that happens. It's not something to worry about. It's just take it in naturally. It's the same reason that in this next one, you'll see that this was a V in ayida. And over here, it's going to be an A. It's the same reason that those 2 changed, but it's not a big important rule, so don't worry about it. Just worry about what you hear. So next one, ayahanes.
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 Adam, ayahanes.
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 Gee, I'm going to go. And then last but not least, ohonayahanes.
Ohonayahanes.
Oyanayahanes.
Gee, ohonayahanes.
Ohanayahanes.
Gee, ohonayahanes.
Ohanayahanes.
Gee, I'm going to read. Okay, so based off this, anybody who gets it to it first, who unmutes, So what, if these are all I'm going to, what are we seeing that changed from this to this? What's our pattern?
vhan,
But what else? Something else is added.
Person marker.
The person, so
is
all together, it's vhanatces, right? That's our whole thing that's changing, vhanatces. And we already know vhan is that future, right? So then we can kind of hopefully guess A's must be the I part, right? I'm going to. Like G, do this so it's not blocking that front of you. Like G, so vhanatces. So then, in Nisida, what's the part that says I'm going to?
vhanes,
Like G, vhanatces. How about for vhanatces?
Vhanatces.
Vhanatces. It's not a trick question. The last one, vhanatces. What's the piece?
same vhanes,
Vhanatces. Exactly. So I'm going to slap it on your verb. So if I give you a whole new verb, let's say oskida. Oskida. I'm not going to tell you what it means. You might already know, but I'm not going to tell you what it means. Tell me that it's going to oskida.
Oskahanes.
Oskahanes.
Oh, I just realized
Ostahanes.
sense. Actually, let me fix this because I
Ostahanes.
forgot that we're focusing on I'm, and this means to rain. So let me actually give you a different one because that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let me give you one that we can do.
would have been the
Let's
yes.
do this one. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you what it means yet. Yehegida. How do I say I'm going to Yehegida?
Yehegahanes,
Yegahanes.
Gee, Yehegahanes. Yehegahanes. Okay, so if Yehegida means somebody give it to me.
To
sing,
sing.
Sing.
What does Yehegahanes mean?
I'm gonna sing,
I'm going to sing. Perfect. I'm going to sing. Heck yeah. Okay. Now we have two different styles though that we can also use to say the exact same thing. It's just adding what's called a helping verb, which is these dudes at the end, which we kind of saw earlier. Okay. So we're using hombada again, but now it's hombahane dos. So I say, you say hombahane dos.
vhanetces,
Humbahanedos.
But gee, hadam, hombahane dos.
Humbahanedos.
Vhanetces.
Like, yeah, hombahane dos.
Humbahanedos.
Vhanetces.
But gee, I'm going to eat. Same exact meaning. Next one. Nisahane dos.
nisahanedos,
Nisahanedos.
Nisahane dos.
nisahanedos,
Nisahanedos.
Nisahane dos.
Nisahanedos.
So for style 2, what is the pattern?
vhanedos,
Ahane dos. Ahane dos. We basically added a dos instead of adding just an S in the very end like before. So ahane dos. So if I give you, how about ayada, right? So ayahanes was what it was before. What is it for this style? How do I say I'm going to go in this style?
ayahanedos,
But gee, ayahane dos. Okay, versus style 3. I would say style 1 and style 3 are the two most common styles used. So for style 3, I say, you say hombahandoes.
Humbahandeways.
Hadam, hombahandoes.
Humbahandeways.
And one last time, hombahandoes.
Humbahandeways.
But gee, okay, for this one, nisahandoes.
Nisahandeways.
Nisahandoes.
Nisahandeways.
Nisahandoes.
Nisahandeways.
And you'll notice some speakers will actually take away that S. So they'll say Mvhayv without the S. That's pretty common. So both are fine. Both are right. Okay, so what's our pattern in this one?
vhanatces.
Vhanatces. I'm going to. So if I give you Ohonayada, what do I add?
vhanatces.
Ohonayahondaways. Heck yeah. Which is a mouthful, but that's just because that's a long verb. Ohonayahondaways. Matji. I'm going to read. Perfect. Okay, well, so far, that's the style and that's the pattern for I. So let's look at what it is when we want to say somebody else is going to do something. Okay, so somebody's going to do. So now we have our sections that are slightly different. We have these two that are you. We have she and he. We have we, y'all, and we have they. But we're going to see vhan's still there. So something else is changing instead. So I say, you say, for this first one, vhanetces.
vhanatces.
Vhanatces.
Vhanetces.
Vhanatces.
Vhanetces.
Vhanatces.
G. For this one, for Nisida, Nisahanetces.
Vhanatces.
Nisahanetces.
Vhanatces.
And then Padam, Nisahanetces.
Vhanatces.
Perfect. You are going to buy. Okay, he or she is going to go. So we have Ayada again. So Ayahanes.
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 Matji. Hadam. Ayahanes.
Ayahanes.
Remember, keep that very clear distinction between that sound and this sound. So remember, I'm going to say the first one, the she, and then the I. Really listen to how this part is different. Ayahanes.
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 Gee, so that's really important, hearing those distinctions and saying them right. So otherwise, you might mean to say I'm going to go, but you said she's going to go, or vice versa. So it's making sure we get those vowels right. Okay. This one, I say, you say, Ohonayahanis.
Ohanayahanes.
Gee, Ohonayahanis.
Ohanayahanes.
Gee, Hadam, Ohonayahanis.
Ohanayahanes.
Gee. Okay, this one with Humbada, Humbahanatches.
Vhanatces.
Gee, remember, really listen. Itches. Atches. So Humbahanatches.
Vhanatces.
Hadam, Humbahanatches.
Vhanatces.
And then last but not least, with Nisida, Nisagahanis.
Nisahanes.
Careful, we don't want to forget this part. Nisagahanis.
Nisahana.
And then Hadam, Nisagahanis.
Nisagahanes.
Perfect. They are going to buy. Matji. So then, let's go with this color again. Okay. For the you are going to eat. What's the pattern?
Vhanatces.
Vhanetces. Vhanetces. Matji. Vhan is our going to. So what part is probably the you?
Itches.
Matji. That's itches. That's the you. Itch. Matji. And there are several dialects for the U form. So you have Humbahanitches, Humbahanitskis, Humbahanitchkis. And I think there's one more. But there's a little fear I can think of right now. But they're all very similar. They're just slightly different. Okay, for he or she is going to go. In this case, what is the pattern?
Ahanes.
Ahanis. Ahanis. Matji. Ahanis. Perfect. Okay, for the we, what's our pattern?
Ahanis.
Ahanis. What G? Ahanis. I like to remember we E. Ahanis. What G? So that E, that's our we. Y'all, what is the pattern for y'all are going to?
vhanatces.
Vhanatces. Vhanatces. What G? So then, if vhan's going to, which part is the y'all?
Atches.
Yes, this ach. This aches. What G? And then last but not least, the sagahanis. What is the pattern for that one?
Hanes.
vhanes.
Careful. Our base verb is nisida.
Agahanes.
There we go. Agahanis.
Mm.
Agahanis. There's a piece that ends up before a han. Agahanis. And once again, asterisk to it, right? The little star, because this is only the case if it doesn't have a special form, right? Nisida, hombida, they don't have a special form for they. But if I want to say they are going to sit, and I'm talking about 3 people, I'm going to use the verb abogida. And then I'll just say abogahanis. So it ends up looking more like this one, because the they in this one is this ak. But if I'm using abogada, you already know it's a bunch of people, because that specifically means it has to be 3 or more people. So then abogahanis. Abogahanis. So that would be they are going to sit. They, 3 plus, are going to sit. Like G. Perfect. So let's practice just the pieces. So you are going to vhanetces.
Ahanis.
Vhanetces.
Hadam, vhanetces.
Vhanetces.
Hadam, ha. Vhanetces.
Vhanetces.
He or she is going to vhanis.
vhanes.
Vhanis.
vhanes.
I am going to vhanes.
vhanes.
Vhanes. We are going to vhanis.
vhanes.
Vhanis. Y'all are going to vhanatces.
vhanatces.
Vhanatces. One more time for that one. Vhanatces. Gee, they are going to, if it doesn't have a special form, agahanis.
Ahanis.
Agahanis. If it has a special form, it becomes ahanis.
Ahanis.
Mut G. This one, once again, can still use style 2 and 3, just like with I'm going to, right? All of them can use it. So it uses the exact same style pieces, where it's that part after a han without the S, and then dos. So let's do the you're going to buy with nisida. Nisa hanetchiros.
Vhanetces.
I know there's more than one person in this room.
Vhanetces.
Okay, perfect. Let's do that again. Nisa hanetchiros.
Vhanetces.
Perfect. And then let's do it with the we form for ohonayada, which is everybody's favorite because it's so long, right? So ahan plus that E, take off the S and add dos. Ohonayahanidos. Yes, that's a long one. Ohonayahanidos. Gee, and now I'm going to say it more normal. Ohonayahanidos. Yes. Tongue twister. Perfect. And then for style 3, once again, style 1 and 3 are the most common. So style 3, we have the ahan. Everything else comes off. We use the omida form. So that was one of the things we talked about in past. Yeah, in the part 1 is the forms of omida. So if you want to go back and learn those, look at the one that says omita conjugations. Here. The omita conjugations is the lesson that you'll be looking for to see what those are. But it takes the omita form of the person. So for the you form of omita, it's donchis. So I say, you say, nisahan donchis.
Nisahan
Donchis.
Nisahan donchis.
Nisahan Donchis.
G. For the we version of the omita conjugation, it's dois. Dois. So I say, you say, ohunayahan dois.
Oyahanu do.
Hadam, ohunayahan dois.
Ohonayahan Dois.
G. One more time. Ohunayahan dois.
Ohonayahan Dois.
G. So I'm not going to go into all the different of the you, she, we, y'all, they for that form. If you want to learn more, go to the omita lesson. The biggest ones I learned, just because most of them we do use style 1. The main ones that you'll hear style 3 come out tends to be the I'm going to, which is on the last page, right? That's the dois. And then the we are going to, the dois. Those are the most common ones that end up using style 3. So style 1, I would focus on that first anyway.
It could have been Okohan Dois, right?
Yes. So that once again, that K can switch out with that H depending on dialect. And then you can be Okonayahan dois or Okonayahan dois or whatnot and so forth. Exactly. Like for example, in our specific office, we have, I would say it's half and half. Half of our speakers use the K version and half uses the H version. So it's pretty even in our office. And it's just going to be basically based off of which dialect you have an easier time with, who are around you and influence you more, and whatnot. G.
Obokojes.
Mhm.
When it comes to those different styles, like 1, 2, and 3, do speakers tend to stick with one all the time, or do they like switch it up a lot?
There's a lot of switching up. There's a lot of switching up, which is great because it shows that you really do just kind of use them all. Like I said, I would say the default for the I and for the we tends to be style 3. I would say that's pretty common for default, but also they plenty of times will end up just using the style 1 for 1 or 3 too. So yeah, it's kind of just whatever comes out at that moment, whatever feels natural at that moment. So that's why if you're learning it for the first time, just starting with 1 and then adding on, that works just fine. What was the third rule from the previous slide? Oh, for so Megan Burnett. Real quick, the rule from that slide was that, remember, we don't always speak in full sentences. So if you wanted to go back and write that down real quick.
Madam.
The longest on style 3 for the they. Yes. Don't use too much, I noticed. Yeah, not even much. Yeah, we do use 2 more in this office just because we're surrounded by others and stuff. So we might tell someone that they're gonna do something, or we might say, like, you doing that, stuff like that. So we do use it a little bit more. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, let's start with I'm trying to get my thing out of my way so I can read. So the left side is all Mvskoke. We're gonna translate into English. So get that out of my way. There we go. Okay. Now I can see. Okay, for this first one, Dolozi Sakmovki no jahanes. Okay. Who knows what Dolozi is?
Chicken.
Chicken. Okay, what's Sakmovki?
Fried.
Fried. So we know that this is fried chicken. Okay. No flagida, right? Because everything after is not part of the verb anymore. So no flagida. What is no flagida?
Cook.
To cook. So we know it's cook. And then what was vhanetces?
Going to.
I'm going to.
Yep, I'm going to.
I'm going to. Perfect. So what's our English sentence altogether?
I'm gonna cook fried chicken.
I'm gonna cook fried chicken. Heck yeah. Okay. How about this one, number 2? Mvhanetces. Or sorry. Well, yes, I did the full version. Mvhanetces is the short version of Mvhayv
You're gonna sing it.
Just
You're gonna sing
just-
that.
You're gonna
Yes.
say
I'm going to sing that. This is that, or ma is that. Yehe is sing. And the vhanetces or vhanches is like a way to shorten it even more is the you're going to.
Aboko Ojage.
Mhm.
That Yahega hunches. Does it ever stand in for Yahega Hanaches as well?
No, not
No.
really. Yehega hunches. Yehega hunches. Yehega hunches.
Like if you were gonna shorten either of them, they'd have to turn into that. But I guess people just shorten the first one.
Yeah, I
Yahega
think
Hanaches.
if you're in a context where you're talking to all these people at once and you say it, maybe it could. I know that in our office, it's usually for the itches form, the you. So
What
but if you're a bunch of people at once and it's very obvious, maybe you could. That's a good question. See, hopefully I'll remember to ask that. I'll ask that probably this afternoon. And I'll add the answer to it on our Facebook group. So if y'all don't know it, Facebook group, you should
Okay.
join.
I've been
Okay.
curious. Thank you.
Okay, our next one is Sligachka ayahandos. Sligachka ayahandos. Okay. Can someone tell me
He's
what
going to Broken Arrow.
what G? So Slig is arrow. Gotchka is broken. Literally, it's snapped. Gotchka. But it's how we say broken arrow, which is a place for anybody who's not in this nearby area. It's a place that's northeast of where our office is. Aida was to go. Ayahan. He's Jay. 1 second. Let me go ahead and mute. Let me help.
I was
somebody.
here for a count.
Okay. Heck yeah, we're back. Okay, so Pigachka was broken arrow. I from Aida was to go, and then Ahandos. We're dropping that one little tiny e, that short e. So it's he or she is going to go. Perfect. Okay, and then last but not least on this side, Brahms hombahanduis. Brahms hombahanduis. Brahms nagidoa.
Thanks, Queen.
Going to eat at Brahms.
Gonna
Yeah,
eat a bomb.
it's just Brahms. So I'm going to eat. Eat, going to, we are. We are going to eat at Brahms.
Chiacha.
Brahms Jayachto. Peter Diaki Jayachto. We're going to eat at Brahms. Heck yeah. Okay, on our right side real quick, let's go ahead and do the opposite. Let's turn into Mvskoke now. So let's do, for this first one, piece by piece. That way some people who are still catching up, they can kind of do it piece by piece. What is our word for cat?
Ozy.
Ozy.
Orzy. Orzy. Okay, it is going to, so we know we're going to use our ahan.
Mhm.
And then drink and milk. So let's look at drink first. What's the verb for drink?
Iskida.
Eskida. Eskida. What is milk?
Wagabisi.
Waga BZ. Waga BZ. Okay, so our order is the subject, the main thing. And in English and in Mvskoke, those tend to be in the same place. So what's our subject?
Cat.
The cat. So we got
Ozy.
Ozy. Okay, now it's the object. It's usually what we would put last. So what's our last thing in a sense?
Wagabisi.
Waga BC. Waga BZ. Okay, now we know our verb is iskida. And the cat would be a he, she, or it, right? So what's our pattern for he, she, it is going to?
Iskahan. Iskahanis.
But gee, it was that ahanes. And then we have our verb. We just drop off the ida. Iskahanes. Bozi. Wagabisi. Iskahanes. But gee. Okay. This one we're also going to do together, and then the next ones you can throw it out. So I'm going to drive the car. I'm going to. What is the pattern for I'm going to?
Hanes.
Ahanes. Ahanes. Okay. Anybody know the verb to drive?
I'm looking it up.
Dokida.
Dokida.
You're so close. We usually add an S
Su-
after it.
Sudokida.
Nice. Now there's two main dialects for this. I'm gonna write down the dialect that I use the most often, and I think it's easier to say personally. But Sadofgida. The other one being Sadofgida or Sadofgida. And they're all correct. They're just dialectal differences. I use the first one because one of the speakers I speak with most often uses that one. I would say the most common one is 2 or 3. 2 or 3 are probably the most common dialect.
Mhm.
Okay, and then what's car?
Automatic.
I heard someone say automy. Automy.
Automy.
Comes from automobile. Automy.
Automy.
Okay. So I'm going to drive the car. So I is the subject, but as we see here, that's already inside of ahanes. So we're not going to put that at the front, right? That goes on the verb. So what else in the sentence needs to go before the verb? It's the last thing in our sentence.
Automy.
Automy. Perfect. Automy. But we have to be able to say what we're driving. So fun fact in Mvskoke, you don't ever use drive without car because it doesn't make any sense. So automy. And then now we have our verb, and the ida always is the one that drops, and we add our piece. So what is I'm going to drive?
Sadofgahanis.
What? G. Right, we have our sadof. Get up. Ida is always the part we notice goes away. And this was the I'm going to ahanes. But G. Okay, last two. Are you going to go to Tulsa? Who wants to go for that one?
Had this.
I'm waiting to hear it.
Dulce Ayahanska. Ayahanska.
Hanska. Hanska.
Monster.
Halsey
Sure.
Ayahanska. So just like we did here, that ended up being the shortened version. So if you want the whole version, Ayahanetska or Itja or Itska. They're all correct. You're good. Oh, no. Mutji. So that is all of the pieces that you have in your Ayahan. Mutji. Dulzy is how we say Tulsa and Mvskoke. Dulzy. Dulzy. So Dulzy Ayahanska. Dulzy Ayahanska. And then who wants to take a stab? Let's see. Actually, I'm going to call on somebody. Let's see. Who have I not heard from? You know what? Kyle. Are you able to unmute? Okay. Give me your best try. We are going to meet at noon. Let me know if you need one of the words.
Chihijafis Tad.
Jafes.
Hey, Jaffa.
Remind me of noon.
Noon is going to be Butcha.
Dale. Puchalega.
Put
And
your
this-
leg.
Is there a particular style that you want it in?
As long as we're using the ahan with the correct thing here, I'm happy with whatever style you want to use.
Pachalega, umo. Irokagahani. Irokagahani dos.
Quadrilega, almost umi, and then which verb did you specifically use for the last part?
I used Irokagida. Irokagahanis.
You said ahani dos.
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay. Machi, oh, I forgot to put the L there. There we go. Pagdelegado mo. Bumi edokal gahani dos. Machi. Or just, this is completely correct. So it's not that it's not correct. I just wanted to add, if you wanted to make it shorter, you can take off omo. Because fudgele got with that AT on the end specifies it's noon time. And then same with bumi.
Oh.
You can take bumi off if you would like, because our bumi is right here with that E, ahanidos. But once again, maybe you're specifying, you're like, hey, at noon, we are going to meet, and you need them to remember that. That's all fine. That's just like basically adding extra specification. So, pachalega etokal gahanidos. There's two verbs that you could use. Edokalgida is the one we used here. Edokalgida. It means to gather. And then there's nagafdida. That one is to meet. So both of those work in this type of category, this type of sense. So either of them work. This one's meet. This one's gather, as in people. People gather. Machi. Okay, with that, we're 10 minutes over, but we've got to go over ahan and review a little bit. We'll be going into a thi and a he next week, as well as how do we ask questions using them, and how do we say that something is not going to happen in the future. So we're going to cover those two concepts next Friday. So before I leave, let me look to see if there's any questions. Machi. Okay, so unless there's any questions, that's what we're going to cover next week. And then at the end of that one, I'll probably ask if there's something you've noticed you want to cover, but I do have an idea of what we'll cover next, maybe. I'm thinking sentence connectors. How do you make long sentences instead of short sentences? Is probably what we're going to cover the week after next. But if you have anything else that comes up in your mind, be ready to bring it up to class next Friday. So if there's no questions. I do want to remind everybody on our Facebook group. I think if you go to Facebook, Mvskoke Bonaga, you should be able to find groups. And there's the like Mvskoke language programs like study group. You should be able to ask questions in there and whatnot. So
If I don't do the Facebook,
if you don't do the Facebook, then you can't really get into the group, but we still have the website and the YouTube and all these other resources for you to use. It just means you wouldn't be able to ask the questions on Facebook, but you can always bring your questions to these classes. So that's still an option. So perfect. Mado.
Mado.
Ado Mahaya.
please.
Yo, Mahaya.
Mado. See you next Friday.